Hello surveyors, how are you? So up until now we have seen how we have colored the point cloud in the last video. Today we are going to see how we can georeference this point cloud in our own coordinate system or some required coordinate system. So for this what we have to do, for example, when we have taken the scan in various scan positions, say scan position 1 here, scan position 2 here, scan position 3 here, and scan position 4 here. So there are total 4 scan positions in this point cloud, and out of all these 4 scan positions we have to have at least 3 ground control points coordinate so that we can georeference this entire point cloud. So what I mean to say by at least 3 is, if there are more than 3 then it's very good, but at least we want to have 3. Okay, so what we will do is we have to make a .csv file out of that. So for this you can see I have created this file with 4 coordinates here: easting, northing, and elevation are known. Using these ground control points I am going to georeference these point cloud data. So let us begin. Firstly I have to close this main window, and then what we have to do is we have to go to TPL SOCS in every scan positions. So firstly I'll go to scan position 1 and then I'll double click on TPL SOCS and find whether I have, while scanning, captured the reflector or not. So here you can see there is one reflector data. So what I will do, I will right click on that and choose the option copy type points to, and in that option I will click on TPL PRCS. So I'm going to show you what this TPL PRCS mean. So for now just click it and OK. After this close this working window, and same I will go to scan position 2 and click on TPL SOCS. But when I open the TPL SOCS in scan position 2, I can see that there is no reflector in this list. So if at least 3 TPL SOCS are not present in the entire project or in all of the scan positions, then we have to create the tie point on our own using manual method in RiScan Pro software. So for now I will close this window and I will open these 2 point clouds. So minimum, gradient, minimum, maximum, and then click OK. After that what I will do, I will select the entire point cloud by Ctrl A and click on copy selection into new point cloud option. So what this will do is this will merge these 2 point clouds and create a single point cloud. We don't have to click on any other options and then directly click OK. And you can see that in the same scan position a new point cloud data will emerge. Okay, now I have to close this working window, and you can see that this single point cloud is nothing but the combination of these 2 point clouds of scan position 2. So I will open that particular point cloud, and what I will do here is I will go and search for the reflector. Okay, here it is. So what we are doing is we are creating the tie point manually. So for that I will align this reflector in such a way that I can easily see its center without any hurdle. So okay, here it is. I can see the center of this particular reflector. So what I will do for creating the tie point here is right click anywhere in the working window and go to new object option. In that option click on new tie point sub option. You can see a new window will pop up. So here it will ask about the name of the tie point. So we can give any name. I am giving TP002 just for the convenience, because this tie point I am creating is for scan position 2, so nothing else. And in the mode option I'll have to click on the closest point radio button. Okay, so wherever I will click, if suppose there is not a point data present, then it will automatically choose the nearest point where I have clicked the mouse. Okay, now for creating a tie point, I will zoom in to my comfortable level, and then while clicking shift in the keypad, I will click on the center of this reflector. So I'm clicking. Okay, I have clicked. The tie point is not yet been generated. This is just a visibility that here, if you are comfortable, then this point cloud will be finalized. So before finalizing it, I will rotate this reflector and make sure that my TP002 has been clicked on this particular reflector only. And after I am confident that yes, what I have created is good, then I will click on create tie point option in this pop-up window. And once I have clicked here, you can see the name will automatically get increased to TP003, signifying the fact that the tie point has been created, and now the pop-up window is ready to create another tie point. So you just have to click only once, and also you can see in the object inspector, once the tie point has been created, the TP002 will be visible in this object inspector. So I'm going to create now. I will click create tie point button once. Okay, you can see that the name has been automatically increased, and in the object inspector window TP002 is being visible now. So now the tie point has been created, and if you want to again create another tie point, then again you have to go anywhere, and while pressing the shift button on the keyboard, click anywhere and choose, and so on. So I don't need any other tie point now, so I will close this window, and I will close the main window as well. And now in the project manager, you can clearly see in the TPL associates of scan position 2 that initially there was no tie point, and now TP002 is being created. So what I will do, I will again right click on it, go to copy tie points 2 and click on TPL PRCS. Okay, close this window and then go to scan position 3. I'll again double click on TPL associates. Here we can see that there is a reflector or tie point. So I will copy tie point to TPL PRCS. Okay. Okay. So now we can see that we already have 3 tie points. Tie points corresponding to scan position 1, scan position 2 and scan position 3. So the minimum criteria for georeferencing has been met. So if I have only 3 tie points and I have to georeference using these 3 tie points, then I can do so. Otherwise, it is always better to have more than 3 tie points. Like for example, let us see in the scan position 4 if there is a tie point present or not. So there is not. So now I can do georeference using only those 3 tie points, or I could create another tie point. So it's always better to create another tie point for more accuracy and more reliable output. So what I will do, I will again do the same as that I did in the scan position 2. I will open these 2 point clouds. Okay. Again I will click Ctrl A and select the entire data, and then click on copy selection into new point cloud. Again I'll click OK, and you can see that in scan position 4 folder also a point cloud object is being created. So I will open that particular point cloud and I will search for the reflector, and coincidentally in the first view we are able to see the reflector. Okay, so you can see that there is this reflector, and there is something else similar to the reflector's shape, but this is the reflection of that reflector. So whatever the most dense point data of the reflector is there, that will be our original reflector. Okay, and what I will do, I will zoom in to my comfort level, and then again right click anywhere on the working window. I'll go to new object, click on new type point. I'll name this type point. Since I am creating type point for scan position 4, so just for the convenience I will name that type point to be TP004, and again I'll choose the closest point mode, and while pressing the shift button in the keyboard I will click on the center of this reflector. Okay, and I will rotate to make sure that where I have clicked the type point is the original position, or sometime what happens that if you click anywhere in the something near to that center, and if there is no type points near to that particular click, and if you have mistakenly clicked in the space behind this reflector, then it will select the point somewhere in the background of that reflector, not on the reflector. So just to make sure that the point is on the reflector, I will rotate once and make sure that yes, the point is on the reflector only, and then click on create type points only once. This is very important. You don't have to click twice, only once, and just make sure that this number gets increased. Okay, increased. And in the object inspector window also TP004 has emerged, and then close the window. Close the working window as well. No. And you can see in the TPL SOCS of the scan position 4, now TP004 has been created. You can see its XYZ values here, this something like that, and then right click on that type point and copy type points to TPL PRCS and click OK. So in the 4 scan positions I have created 4 type points, and I have copied that type points to the TPL PRCS. So in the project manager, in object called TPL PRCS, so double click on it, and you can see the copied type points that we have copied from each of the scan positions. Okay, so initially it was empty, there were no type points here, and I have copied the type point list from each of the scan positions. Okay, close this window, and there is one object called TPL GLCS. So this is TPL GLCS. I have double clicked it, and there are no data here. So what is TPL GLCS? It is nothing but type point list of global coordinate system. GLCS stands for global coordinate system. So in this particular list there should be present all of the type points which we have recorded in our required georeferenced coordinate system that we want to georeference our point cloud data into. So what we have to do is, as I have told earlier, that we have to create a .csv file here of all the reflectors containing the global coordinate system type points, or the coordinate system that we are requiring our point cloud data to be in. So I have already created this 4 type points, and what I will do is close this window, of course, and then there is an option in this TPL GLCS field only, naming import type point list, and I have to import those CSV points here. So I will single click on it, and this is the file that I had created. I'll open it, and so see, there is an option called skip the first lines. So you can skip the lines if you have created some heading for your reference, or name, or serial number, something like that. So see, I have given the heading easting, northing and elevation. So you only want pure data, no headings or no XYZ or no names. So I have to skip this first row. So I will skip this line, and if you have created naming or something like that in more than one lines, so you could choose number of lines here. and since the file is .csv, that is comma separated value, so I will click on this comma option, and you can see that the software has already given the name of these columns as name y-x. So as we already know that this is easting, this is northing, you can see from here by unclicking this is easting, this is northing, and this is elevation. So easting in RiScan Pro is called as x, northing as y, and elevation as z. So I have to correct this by dragging the x from this column association list to the name, and the column name would change. Again here, although it's already y, so no issue, and in elevation I will drag and drop the z option. So this is how we have assigned the heading, and don't forget to click on the skip the first line and then click OK. Alright, so one more thing I want to make sure that the x, y and z of the center of the reflector should be imported here. Okay, so sometime what happens, if you have created a station and the xyz coordinate of that particular station is known, so just make sure to add the height of the center of the reflector from your known station, because if you are placing a pole over that known station, and since we have to have the center of the reflector, so the height should be added in that particular z coordinate of that known station. Okay, so I have already added it, otherwise our georeferencing would become wrong. Okay, so just close this after importing, and click on TPL PRCS again. Click means double click. Okay, so for georeferencing, what I have to do is I have to link these 4 points which are in PRCS. PRCS is nothing but project coordinate system. So initially our points were in SOCS, that is scanners on coordinate system. After registering and multi-station adjustment, we have changed that SOCS in PRCS, that is project coordinate system. And now since we want our coordinate system georeferenced, so we have to link these type points to GLCS, and this is how our point cloud data will be georeferenced. So after opening this TPL PRCS, I will select this, it has been already selected, and then click on this find corresponding points option here. Okay, then a pop-up window will open, and in the settings you have to choose the minimize error radio button, and tolerance of let's say 0.2 meter, something like that, and minimum number of n to be 3, always 3. This is minimum number of type points. Even though if you are using 4 type points for georeferencing, you always have to use 3. Okay, even if you are using 3 type points, then also you have to use minimum n equal to 3, or if you are using more than 3 type points, then also you have to use minimum n equal to 3. Okay, and please don't check this option rename type points, otherwise what will happen, these type points name would be changed to the corresponding type points from the TPL GLCS. So we don't want to change the name of this. Just for future reference, only we have to tick the use existing link option, and then click on start, and you can see that the result has been generated with a standard deviation of 0.07, that is acceptable, and then click OK. Okay, so this is how we can georeference the data. So to see how our georeferenced data will be visible, I will select all point clouds and drag and drop them in the main window. Let us say that we want to see that in true color only, and to check that whether our point cloud has been georeferenced or not, you can see a readout PRCS option just beside project manager. So click here, and in the project coordinate system, click and then choose the global coordinate system. So currently we have chosen the project coordinate system, so the data will be visible in PRCS. So if you want to see the georeferenced data or the data in the georeferenced coordinate system, I will choose this option, and wherever I will place my mouse or my cursor, you can see in here point coordinates, that it will show the corresponding x, y, z value of that particular point. So this is how we can georeference the data. So just to make sure that I am using some arbitrarily coordinate system here as global coordinate system, I'm not using any standard WGS84 or something like that. So don't get confused that even after georeference what these XYZ values are. So these are just corresponding to my own assumed coordinate system, but the idea is how to georeference our point cloud, and this is how we can georeference the entire point cloud data in a project in the RiScan Pro software. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share and subscribe the channel. Thanks.